Good morning, Rebecka Vigus, the writer whisperer here. Hoping that you can join us for a discussion of writing, um, get a writing prompt, ask questions about writing. Maybe I should tell you who I am. I am Rebecka Vigus, and I am the writer whisperer. I started writing when I was about 10 years old, and a teacher told me that with my imagination, he would see me in books. I believed him. And I spent a lot of time writing nonsense poems, probably a good year and a half writing nonsense poems. I was good at it. They were funny. Then I moved and decided that I didn't fit in. And it didn't take me real long to figure out I was the square peg trying to fit into the round hole. And it wasn't going to work. And I wrote poetry about not fitting in. Teenage years were not fun years for me. In fact, all I wanted to do was graduate and escape. Escape the town, escape the school, and I wanted to write. My parents encouraged this. However, they thought I needed a backup job because writing doesn't always pay well. And they're right. Writing does not always pay well. So I went to college and studied English and history. And I took some accounting classes. And I ended up getting a master's degree in reading and learning disabilities and teaching special education for 22 years. When I retired, I had the equivalent of 28 and a half years in, and the state of Michigan gave teachers this wonderful buyout, and I took it. I had been writing seriously probably since 2000. Over the years, I'd written several poems and had them accepted into anthologies. I have at least a dozen anthologies here in which I have a poem. One year I did win an Editor's Choice Award, which is a good award to win. But I wanted to write a novel. Oh, really? I did. And I had several starts, but they didn't seem to go anywhere. It's like I could get so far, and it's like, what next? So I started reading and buying books on writing. And I was writing, and I was writing. I redid my original book of poetry. I wrote a self-help book for teens and tweens, or tweens and teens. And So You Think You Want to Be a Mommy, but they weren't novels. And it was 2005, I believe, when I found National Novel Writing Month, known as NaNoWriMo, for those of you who don't know. It's nationalnovelwritingmonth.org, I believe. And I signed up, but I didn't do anything for the first 8 days. And I thought, well, if you signed up for this and you're going to write, you might as well get yourself sitting down and writing. And so I wrote on November 8th and on November 9th. And I came home from work to write on November 10th. I didn't have any power. I didn't get power until the wee hours of the morning. So writing did not happen because I was typing into my computer at the time, and it didn't happen. So on the 11th, when I got home, I did do my writing. And again on the 12th, and then all weekend long. And used the restroom, and I went back writing. And I sat in my little office and I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote. And I kept writing every night after work and all the time on the weekends using an old-fashioned floppy disk and her computer and typing like a mad woman. On November 30th, at about 5 minutes to midnight, I typed the last of a novel. Let me tell you something about this novel. It's called Secrets. Let me tell you something about it. I had started it 3 different times. And stopped because it wasn't working for me. When I sat down to write, it was a whole different story beginning. And a whole different way to look at what I wanted to have happen. And how I wanted it to happen. And yuck. What I wanted to have happen to bring this life. I was amazed. At that point, my characters just started taking over the story, and I'm going, what the heck? I've heard of this happening, but I've never had this happen before. It doesn't always, but it does sometimes. Secrets was done in 21 days. I had read the first 5 chapters to my 7th and 8th grade students during their English class. They all wanted to know what happened. As of this time, I believe all of them have a copy. No, I didn't give them away. No, I didn't sell them to them. Their parents contacted me, and I sold them to the parents outside of school. At local book signings, never at school. They were not meant. And I told the parents in a letter that I had read the first 5 chapters of a book I was writing to their kids, and that I would not sell it to any of them because I didn't write it to sell it to the kids. It's not how I do things. But the parents had enough respect for me, and they read the book and said, oh, yeah. And they would bring it into me at school so I could autograph it for their student. And a lot of them ended up in Christmas presents. And it was a success. It was a smashing success. It didn't come out till 2006 because in NaNoWriMo, you don't correct, you don't edit, you just write. 30 days of kamikaze writing. That's all you do. I don't recommend it. It's great if that's what you want to do and do it for fun. And I have attempted it a couple other times. I've won it twice. I've twice hit 50,000 words. I've probably done it 3 other times that I didn't. It just works that way. And I know a lot of you have questions about, the biggest question I get is, how do I start? Where do I start? And they always say, write about what you know. Not true. It helps to know something, but you may have to research what you're writing about. In my second novel, Out of the Flames, what I knew about arson, you could put on, the tip of this pen. I knew it was somebody starting fires. That's all I knew. It just so happened that I had a friend who was a firefighter who had just taken a course in arson investigation. She brought me her own notes, the notebook that went with the class, the textbook, and showed me a link online where I could get information about arson and arson investigation and the tests that have to be run and why they run those tests. I spent 3 months, not days, not weeks, months, plowing through this information and taking notes in my own notebook. Before I sat down and finished the book I had started. Now, the book started because somebody said, take these 3 words, certainly, or certain, fire, and clock. And start a story using those. So I did. And I mailed it in just to see what they'd say. Emailed it in. Oh, I have so much. Seriously? I already had 3 books out. One was a novel. And that was selling. So are the other 2, by the way. I needed a course to teach me how to write. I didn't think so. I'd taken every course the college had to offer me. I'd even taken broadcast journalism. I'd taken narrative writing. I'd taken journalism 101. I'd taken feature. I'd taken interpretive reading. I'd done everything I needed to do. And in my master's class, under reading, I got a whole lot more writing classes because reading and writing go together. Always have, always will. You want to write? What are you interested in? List your top 3 interests, things that really fire you up and get you excited. Which one do you want to write about? Mystery, thriller, suspense. Because I like puzzles, and I think a mystery is a puzzle. And I think there's suspense in a mystery. And there can be thrills in a mystery. And they can be 3 separate entities. You can write a thriller. a sit on the edge of your seat thriller, knowing that you have to turn the next page, even if it is 3:00 in the morning, because you can't leave them hanging. So, yes, write what you're interested in. Write the novel you want to read. That's important. That's very important. The other thing is, are you writing every day? If you're not, you need to start. The best way to start is with morning pages. Morning pages are not my brainchild. They belong to Julia Cameron. And in every book you will read by Julia Cameron, the first thing she tells you is to start morning pages. Grab a journal, a notebook, whatever's handy. This is my current morning pages journal. It's filled. You can see I even cross out words. I don't bother to correct them. I just cross them out. Because this is my journal for me. I do it in the morning, generally after breakfast with a cup of tea. And yes, I do have a cup of tea for tea at 10. It's a Kai spice, double spice, with cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves, if you're interested. In your morning pages, you take your pen, pencil, whatever you're writing with. I prefer pen because I found that pencil fades. I have a hair, sorry. And I want to go back and I may want to go back and read something. I may have written a story idea in there. Or there may be something in there that's still bugging me. And I want to look back and see what I wrote. The journal I just showed you is my 4th morning journal. Write 3 back and front pages. That's actually 6, guys, because you're writing on each side. You can do it with a spiral notebook. You can do it with loose leaf paper. The idea is to get your brain dumping everything that's in it. The fight you had with your boss yesterday. The fact that Sally Sue doesn't do her job, so you can't do your job, which caused the fight with your boss or the argument or disagreement. The issue you had with one of the kids doing something foolish. Stresses about money. Fights with your significant other. Anything that's bugging you gets written in the morning pages because you know what? They're yours. No one gets to read them unless you let them. They're yours. Best time to write them is when everyone else is still sleeping. You're not bothering anybody. Nobody's bothering you. You just get to write. And that's the awesome thing, is you get to write. You can carry a little 3x5 journal in your hip pocket or your shirt pocket and pull it out during the day. If something comes to you that you think might be a wonderful idea, jot it down in your little 3x5 flip tablet. Throw it in your pocket. When you get home at night, there's nothing going on. Kids are in bed. Wife's doing her thing. Husband's doing his thing. significant other is doing their thing, whatever it is. Take out this little notebook. Take a different notebook and start seeing if you can write anything on that topic or the different ways to look at that topic. I don't want to bore you or anything, but if you do have questions, please comment on the video. I will answer your comment later today because I will be looking for the questions you ask, and I will also answer them in tomorrow's Tea at 10. The writing prompt for today comes from a wonderful lady named Bonnie Neubauer. And she has this. And the side I'm looking at, it gives settings. And then it gives starters. Up here it says words, but that's just, I think, more decoration than anything because it doesn't turn. Other side, it says hours of fun. And you spin it around to one of these pictures. And the one I've got it on now says wine and cheese. Okay, this is wine and cheese. And it says one starter, 6 words, complain to your heart's content about something. Okay, I have used this side. And the setting for today is, it shifted. On a new planet. On a new planet. You've been chosen for what? On a new planet, you've been chosen. See what you come up with a little brief story. It doesn't have to be complete. Just get started on it. It may not even be something you're interested in. Give it a start anyway. See, I broadened my horizons and I went from being mystery thriller suspense writer to writing children's books, to writing middle grade books. Wait, I taught kindergarten through 8th grade. I think I know what the kids like. I think I know how to reach them. My first children's book is my best seller. And it's taken me to becoming an international author. It's titled Of Moonbeams and Fairies. Collected Tales. I have written an alphabet book titled G is for Gymnastics. I have written a Christmas story for last year titled Santa is for Real, but he doesn't always wear a red suit. I have more middle grade books coming out. Probably you won't see them before 2022. But I'm working on them. I'm still working on mystery thriller suspense. My poetry book is going to come out, and guess what? It's 3rd edition. 1, 2, 3. I'm writing a book called Let's Write Fiction, Tears, Fears, Confidence Book. And there'll be coursework with that too. So let me know what it is you want to know about writing. Where to start, how to figure out where to start. Tell me, ask me anything. I can pretty much tell you or point you in the right direction for what you want. Join me again tomorrow for Tea at 10. Bye now.